My stepsister didn't just uninvite me from her wedding. She tried to destroy my career. And she used my own private medical records to do it, saying I was unstable. Before we dive in, if you're new here and like these family drama stories, hit subscribe. We're trying to reach 1,000 and everyone helps. Now back to this mess. Let's start from the beginning. My dad married my stepmom about 15 years ago. That's when her daughter, my stepsister, came into my life. We were never super close, you know? Not like sisters in the movies. But we were civil. We were family. When I got married a few years back, she was one of my bridesmaids. I bought her the dress, paid for her hair and makeup, all of it. I did it because that's what you do for family. I thought we were okay. I really did. So when she got engaged, I was genuinely happy for her. I texted her congratulations. I liked the posts on social media. I was excited to celebrate with her. I just assumed I'd be there, maybe even in the wedding party. Looking back, that was my first mistake. Assuming. Weeks went by, then months. I heard through my dad that she was deep into planning. She'd picked a venue. She'd sent out save the dates. I never got one. I figured, okay, maybe it got lost in the mail. No big deal. I didn't want to be that person, the one causing drama. So I stayed quiet. Then the invitations went out. My dad and stepmom got theirs. My step-grandparents got theirs. All her friends, her cousins, everyone. But nothing for me. The silence in my mailbox was loud. That's when I knew it wasn't an accident. This was on purpose. I had to ask. It was eating me alive. So I called her. I tried to keep my voice light, casual. I said something like, "Hey, just wanted to check in on wedding stuff. I haven't seen an invitation, so I was just wondering about the date." There was this long pause on the other end of the line. Then she said it. Her voice was cold. She was like, "Oh, yeah, we decided to have a smaller wedding. Just immediate family and our closest friends." I was stunned. I just stood there, phone pressed to my ear. But I thought I was immediate family. "Well," she said, and I could practically hear the smirk in her voice. "We wanted a day that was positive, free of any drama. Free of drama. I was the drama. After everything, after standing by her side at my own wedding, I was being cut out and called dramatic for even asking why. It was a slap in the face. A really hard one. I didn't know what to say. I think I just mumbled something like, "Okay," and hung up. Then I cried. I was so hurt and so deeply confused. What had I ever done to deserve this? I called my dad, hoping he would have some answers. Hoping he would stick up for me. He didn't. He just sighed. He said the gist of it was, "This is her day. We can't tell her who to invite. You just need to be the bigger person and let it go. Don't make waves. Don't make waves." That's what I was always told. Just smile, be polite, and swallow the hurt. So that's what I tried to do. The day of the wedding came and went. It was all over social media. My dad and stepmom were in the photos, smiling. Everyone was there, celebrating. And I was at home, scrolling through pictures of a life I was suddenly no longer a part of. It felt like a public shaming. Every picture was a little reminder. You don't belong. You're not wanted here. I'm not gonna lie, it broke me a little bit. I thought that would be the worst of it. I thought the humiliation of being excluded was my punishment for some crime I never even committed. I was wrong. It was about to get so much worse. Here's a crucial piece of information. My stepsister and I are both nurses. We even work in the same hospital system, just in different departments on different floors. We rarely saw each other, but we were colleagues under the same corporate umbrella. That fact is about to become very important. About a month after the wedding, things at work started to feel weird. A couple of my co-workers who used to be friendly were suddenly distant. They would stop talking when I walked into the break room. I got weird looks in the hallway. I brushed it off at first. Hospitals are stressful places. People have bad days. But then my manager called me into her office. She looked uncomfortable. She said, "I'm just checking in. Is everything okay with you personally? I've heard some concerns." I was completely blindsided. Concerns? What kind of concerns? She wouldn't give me specifics. She just said things about my emotional state and my stability. She said someone had mentioned I was unpredictable and not handling stress well. It was all vague, but it was clear someone was trying to poison the well. Someone was trying to make me look like I was unfit for my job. A job I love. A job I'm good at. I left that meeting with a knot in my stomach. Who would say that? Why? And then it clicked. The timing. The wedding. The cruelty. It had to be her. It was the only thing that made sense. She wasn't content with just kicking me out of her life. She wanted to ruin my professional one too. I felt helpless. It was my word against hers. She could deny everything, and I'd just look paranoid. But I couldn't let it go. This was my reputation, my livelihood. The confirmation came from a friend of mine who works in the IT department for the hospital. I was having coffee with her one day, and I was just venting. I told her the whole story. The wedding, the weirdness at work. I didn't even ask her to do anything. I was just getting it off my chest. She got this really serious look on her face. She said, "That sounds really bad. Let me be clear, I can't officially look anything up for you. But I can tell you that patient privacy logs are a real thing. Every single time someone accesses a patient's chart, it's tracked. Who, when, from what terminal. It's all there." A cold dread washed over me. I'm a nurse. I know this. But I'd never had a reason to think about it for myself. A few years ago, I'd been treated for anxiety at one of our sister clinics. It was during a really tough time in my life, after my mom passed away. It was on my medical record, my confidential, private, protected medical record. I suddenly had a sick feeling, a feeling so awful it made me want to throw up. Was it possible? Would she really go that far? I had to know. The next day, I went to the hospital's patient advocacy department. I formally requested an audit of my own medical chart. I told them I had reason to believe my privacy had been breached. They took it very seriously. They said it would take a few days to investigate. Those were the longest few days of my life. I went to work and just tried to act normal, but inside I was screaming. Part of me hoped I was wrong. I hoped I was just being crazy and paranoid. Because if I was right, it meant my own stepsister, my family, had committed a profound and illegal act of betrayal. The call came a week later. It was the hospital's privacy officer. Her voice was grave. She said, "We've completed the audit of your electronic health record. We found multiple unauthorized access events." My blood ran cold. Unauthorized? By who? She told me she couldn't give me the name over the phone, but that the employee in question had accessed my chart 3 times in the last month. They accessed my mental health records specifically, my diagnosis for anxiety, the notes from my therapy sessions, my prescriptions, and the access dates lined up perfectly with when the rumors started at work. The employee had no professional reason to be in my chart. None. It was a massive violation of hospital policy, and a massive violation of federal law. It was a HIPAA breach. I knew who it was. I didn't even need her to say the name. My stepsister had armed herself with my most vulnerable information and used it as a weapon against me at my job. She wasn't just telling people I was emotional. She was likely twisting my actual medical history to prove it, to make me seem unstable, to destroy my credibility as a nurse. An anxious nurse is one thing, but a nurse whose private struggles are being weaponized against her by a colleague, that's a nightmare. That's when all the hurt turned into something else. It turned into cold, hard anger. This wasn't about a wedding invitation anymore. This wasn't petty family drama. This was a calculated, malicious attack. She didn't just cross a line. She blew the line up. As a nurse, she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew it was illegal. She knew it was unethical. And she did it anyway. I had a choice. I could confront her and the family and have it all turn into a huge screaming match where they'd probably gaslight me and call me a liar. Or I could handle it the official way, the way a professional handles a serious breach of ethics and law. I chose the professional route. I filed a formal complaint with the hospital's HR department. I filed a formal complaint with the State Board of Nursing. I laid out everything: the wedding exclusion, the timing of the workplace rumors, and the proof from the privacy audit. I attached the report. I didn't do it with joy. I felt sick to my stomach, but I knew I had to. What she did was not only a personal betrayal of the highest order, it made her an unsafe practitioner. If she could do this to me, her own stepsister, what could she do to a vulnerable patient she didn't like? The fallout was nuclear. Of course, the hospital launched a full investigation. When they confronted her with the evidence from the privacy logs, she couldn't deny it. She was suspended immediately, and eventually she was fired. The nursing board also launched their own investigation, which could result in her losing her license to practice. My dad and stepmom were furious. Not at her, at me. My stepmom called me screaming. She said I was a vindictive, hateful person. She said I had ruined her daughter's life over a stupid wedding invitation, that I was jealous and couldn't stand to see her happy. My dad was just as bad. He called and said, "I told you to be the bigger person. I told you not to make waves. And you went and did this? You destroyed your sister." I tried to explain. I said, "She illegally accessed my medical records and used them to try and get me fired." His response, "She was just upset. She made a mistake. You didn't have to ruin her career. Family should protect each other." That's what broke me. Family should protect each other. But who was protecting me? Who was there for me when she deliberately humiliated me? Who was there for me when she tried to sabotage my career? No one. They wanted me to just quietly absorb the abuse, to swallow the poison and smile. They weren't asking her to be accountable. They were asking me to be a doormat. I told him, "She stopped being my sister when she did this. This wasn't a mistake. It was a choice, a deliberate, illegal choice. I am protecting myself, and I am protecting my career. And frankly, I'm protecting her future patients from her." He didn't have anything to say to that. So here we are. My stepsister is out of a job and may never work as a nurse again. My stepmom and that entire side of the family have cut me off completely. My relationship with my dad is hanging by a thread. He's civil, but he's cold. He thinks I went too far, that I should have handled it within the family. But there was nothing left to handle. She took a personal slight and turned it into a professional and illegal attack. I didn't throw the first punch. I just made sure the last one landed. I defended myself with the only tools I had: the truth and the rules that we, as nurses, are all supposed to live by. So I have to ask, after all of that, am I the asshole for filing a complaint that got my stepsister fired after she didn't invite me to her wedding? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have a story about family drama spilling over into your professional life, I'd love to hear it. It might make me feel a little less alone in all this.